this did it better than Shelby Oaks. Last night's mystery movie at Regal, March 30th mystery movie, was Hunting Matthew Nichols. And it is almost, beat for beat, the exact same type of story that Shelby Oaks was. I do not know what story was written first. I want to say Shelby Oaks was probably written first, but I might be completely wrong because I have not done a deep dive into the filmmakers, the writer of Hunting Matthew Nichols. Now, this film is told in a fake documentary style, and I have been upfront about the fact that that is not a genre that I gravitate toward. There have been a few, not necessarily fake documentary style, but let's say, home video, camcorder found footage type of stories, that sort of umbrella. They're not movies that I typically enjoy. Like I've never really been drawn to paranormal activity. It's kind of hard for me to buy into people who are pretending that what they're filming is real, even though I know that acting is all pretend. It's just something weird about the flip-flop of that. People faking but pretending it's real, pretending that the story that they're showing you is an actual true story. I don't know exactly how to put it into words right now, and I don't want to ramble too long because I have a live stream discussion pretty soon talking about this very film. Anyway, the basis of the story is it takes place on Vancouver Island, and there is a young woman named Tara whose brother Matthew went missing 23-ish years ago, like 2001, and I think the documentary is supposed to take place a few years ago. Few years ago. And there is a documentary being made about this mystery of her brother and his friend who went missing in Black Bear Forest. I think that was the name of it. Now, right before this film started, there was a little sort of info blurb that was put up there about how the disappearance rate on Vancouver Island is higher than all of Canada or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but I thought that was interesting and I wondered if it was true. I might go digging to see if I can find out that information, but I hadn't heard such a thing, so curious to know more about that. As she is going along on her journey to finding out what happened to her brother, she finds out things that make her question the police, and then she finds out why the police did what they did, and then she decides to go on this expedition to find out what happened. I'm not going to delve into specifics, but I've already told you enough that lets you know kind of the territory we're heading into when I refer to Shelby Oaks. Not exactly the same, but that type of deal. The main character of Tara, there are moments where she's frustrating as a character because she does things that I would not do. That probably most people would not do. However, they made her motivation and her desire and her drive easy to understand. I could understand that she was so obsessed and wrapped up in this quest to find out what happened to her brother. I can't say she's completely likable because there were moments because she was doing things that I thought she was really stupid to do. There were moments where I was so aggravated at her, I almost wish something bad would happen to her, as long as it didn't happen to anybody else. That was the vindictive part of me. Something I thought was funny was that the audience I was with, there were 2 people that left, but for the most part, everybody else stayed there. And the audience I was with, probably more vocal than the audience I was with when I saw Scream 7. And that was the most vocal audience I had been in for a horror movie. There was so much talk back to the screen. Don't do that. Don't you go there. Don't you do? And then outright screaming when something would happen that would startle the... It made me laugh. Now, maybe some people would be aggravated by that. And sometimes the chatter did get to be a little bit too much because they would be chattering even when there were things that were happening or things that were being said that I wanted to pay attention to. But overall, I thought it was funny. And yeah, when that scream happened in the audience, multiple people screaming, yeah, I laughed out loud. Anyway, it was crazy. While there are a ton of similarities between this movie and Shelby Oaks, it does diverge in the sense that not only is it about a sister looking for a sister, and in Hunting Matthew Nichols, it's a sister looking for a brother, whatever. It's a sibling looking for a sibling. But where this film diverges is that in Shelby Oaks, it starts off almost like it's a documentary, and I thought it was going to be that way the whole time. You know, like pure found footage, fake documentary, mockumentary, that sort of thing. And Shelby Oaks ended up not being like that at all. It transitioned to a regular type of film style. This movie did not. This movie maintained that fake documentary style throughout. And at first I wondered if that was going to bother me because, like I said, I'm not huge into this subgenre of film. But it really didn't bother me, and I thought the actors, for the most part, did a very, very good job, especially the lady who played the policewoman or the detective that had been investigating the disappearance of the boys. There's a moment where she and the character of Tara are talking, and it gets pretty heated, and I really liked how the police lady pushed back against Tara's attitude, and I could understand where both of these women were coming from, and I thought that scene was done very well. For the most part, the horror aspect of this is kept from you. You don't see super explicit detail as to what's on one of these tapes or what happens at the end. And while that might aggravate some people, and while some people might feel like this film dragged, because I did see folks on Reddit talking about that, I honestly didn't feel that way. It was about 90 minutes long. I heard that there was a mid-credit scene. I did not stick around for that because I had tried to find out if there was going to be and didn't find any information, so I left. Apparently there is one. I wish I'd seen it. But what I was saying is that I was engaged the whole time and did not feel that anything dragged. I felt like the sequence of events came about organically. I understood why the characters did what they did in these different moments as the story was unfolding. And I also liked that they left a lot of stuff up to your imagination, because to me, that makes horror more horrifying. The less you show, the more scary it is, because your brain will fill in all sorts of scary stuff. I do admit to not being fully clear on what exactly was happening at the end. I think I understand. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really change how I feel about the film as a whole. I thought that this was a pretty solid viewing experience. It's not going to end up on my favorites of the year, but it's also not going to be something that I feel like I can't recommend. If you like this style of film, I think you'll probably enjoy it. I might be completely wrong. You might think it sucks. You might think it drags. You might think it lacks fear or horror. It's not horror or scary enough. But to me, it was the journey getting to what she found out about what happened to her brother that I really liked. I just liked how all of that unfolded. And maybe part of it is because while I do enjoy documentaries, I don't watch a ton of them, but the ones that I do like to watch a lot of times revolve around mysteries or true crime. And so this had elements of that as well. That's probably another reason this appealed to me on the level that it did, despite this not being something that would normally appeal to me, or this style of film. Anyway, whatever. I'm just glad I didn't walk away from it feeling pissed like I did with They Will Kill You and some other mystery movies this year. I'm glad that it was overall an enjoyable experience, and curious to know what you guys think whenever you check it out. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now about Hunting Matthew Nichols. Gonna go ahead and wrap this up. See you later, guys. Bye.